Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Blu-rayDave back with another movie review. Man, I haven't done these in a long time. I don't do these all the time. The last one I did it was actually on Deadpool and Wolverine. That was with my brother. So as you guys can you already read the title. Um, we're gonna talk about this movie. Oh yeah, got a poster. Um, Kraven the Hunter is genuinely a good film. Honestly, Sony delivered big time because um, this takes us all the way back to the early Venom days when they promised the first Venom was going to be R rated, right? And of course, it went to PG-13. But Sony delivered, they did not hold back, and I was getting worried because it was getting pulled from what 3,000 theaters in the U.S. Man, like Sony, for once, just trust your gut, trust your instincts. Hear what other people have to say about this film, and yeah, I enjoyed the first 8 minutes that they showed it. They put out the week before. I even commented I can't wait to see this movie. Right? Um, yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson made a comeback. He has changed a lot since being Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, right? And I still love that role that he played. Can you imagine Secret Wars? Both, his versions of Quicksilver and Kraven joining forces. I could definitely see Wanda mistaking him to be Peter, right? Peter Maximoff. Um, so before we actually get into the movie review, yeah, spoilers ahead. If you guys don't want to hear spoilers. So yesterday, right, when I ordered my ticket, I was the only one there because I looked around, right? And when I got into the theater in person, sure, I was the only one for 5-10 minutes. And there was a couple that came in, right? On my right, and there was another couple that came in there on the left, and there was a few other people here hey, at least I won't be I didn't have that fear though, and this was the first time me going to a movie alone. Sure, my brother and mom had another movie to go to, so I'm wait a second, our movies kind of start at the same time. A 20-minute difference, so it's fine. Mine started at 6:40. But yeah, I had no problem with that. I wanted to do that for so long. My mom would always get concerned, why do I want to be alone in the theater? I don't know, maybe have that experience, get it all to myself. And the left side, the speakers, when the trailers were playing, because you guys know how loud the theater is, with the trailers, right? They always over exaggerate the music and the scenes. It was I don't know if static is the right word, but just when it anytime I just want the music to stop. Man, is this gonna affect the whole theater? And there was a guy that came in on the right, and I think it was telling the couple on this side to move just a bit closer, just in case of something happened on the left side. I agree. And what they did was they paused the trailer, they did a sound check, played the trailer, and we got the sound right. Anyways, on to the spoiler review. So, the beginning, right? If anybody has seen the 8-minute preview of it, the scene from last week, I love it instantly. What a great way to open up the movie. And I wasn't expecting, the 16 years past, a long time ago with Kraven's backstory to be long, but you know what? It was worth the watch, right? Because I loved seeing how he was, developing the powers and all that. We have had some of those with other past villains. Either it was in a solo movie or in a superhero movie or whatever. But Sony really did take their time with the backstory, right? Yeah, that was just so cool. Russell Crowe as a villain, maybe he has played a villain role before, I don't know, but and this is his second time being in a Marvel movie, because if you don't know, he was in Thor: Love and Thunder, right? So can you imagine that dynamic in Secret Wars if they ever bring Kraven's father back, which I'll of course I'll explain later on. Yeah, Russell Crowe, he delivered such a good performance on like being like a gangster father, right? He was a gangster. Um, like he was just so he was especially like a jerk to his youngest son. What was his name? Dimitri, who turned out to be Chameleon, right? Um, I'm sorry, I don't remember Craven's real name, so we're just gonna keep using Craven. So like, of course, Craven being the oldest, like, um, his father was hard on him sometimes, but like he still appreciated him, like for being fearless, right? And like Russell Crowe's villain's message in the movie, if you will, is like you need to be strong. You need to show fear because if you don't do any of that, you're you're gonna be weak, right? Like you'll be weak. Like there were most times in the movie I was just so mad at him. Like, what's wrong with being vulnerable? That's what makes us human, right? Like we're not gods. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had a god complex. So yeah. Um, um, I did like the main girl in this movie. I thought she was hot, by the way. But there were a few scenes with her lines where I feel like in post, like they do like voiceover. Like I feel like, especially with like you could tell with the really loud noises in the scenes where she's kind of like she sounds like a robot. I can't explain. Like I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie at all. Like just felt a bit off. Maybe that's how she sounded on set. Or maybe they asked her, like, listen, like, can you say these lines again, like, in post, right? Like, I don't know. The Rhino. The Rhino is an interesting character. I didn't recognize the guy right away because they show him, like, in the backstory, like, he had longer hair, but, like, they show him present day with shorter hair, glasses, and he tells one of the sons, like, his backstory, like, how he knows his dad, like, oh yeah, you're the guy who Russell Crowe like told you off about. Like, yes, you're nothing, right? But when he was in full Rhino form in the final battle, right? Like, man, you know what? This redeems the character because I still don't like how they portrayed Rhino in TASM 2, right? Like, honestly, like this whole time I was thinking, like, yes, this is how Rhino should be represented in like on film, right? Like, um, and of course, it has been confirmed, like, this movie is not part of the Venom Morbius universe. It's just its own thing because that would explain, like, I guess Rhino's existence. And again, if those movies were part of Andrew Garfield's movies, like that would like break continuity. So the legend hunter, right? Or legendary hunter, where they say the legend, like Russell Crowe's character says like if you kill the legend, you become the legend. So I think the movie was trying to show that the lion that Kraven was, face to face with, like as a kid, like I think the movie is implying that that lion is the legend, right? Because again, the movie, I don't think the movie is saying like, oh, the legend is a person, is a man. Like I think the legend was the lion. Like after the lion, well, okay, after the dad shoots the lion once, the lion, of course, will react in a scared way, right? So he grabs, like, bites Craven's arm. The dad shoots the lion again, and as the lion picks him up, like, shoots him a third time, right? And then, of course, his blood, the lion's blood, goes into Craven's body, right? So that's pretty cool. I've always wondered, like, how they did that. Like, I've never read the comics because growing up, I wasn't really a huge fan of Kraven. Like, oh, like he hunts Spider-Man, right? Like, what I've learned about as of late, like Kraven, not only like that where his powers comes from, but like the reason why he's like the hunter is because he goes after people who wronged him, right? So he kills the people that who wronged him, right? So like, man, the intense scenes were like they were so good. Like again, Sony, you delivered, right? Like, um, but I kind of want to get back to Rhino a little bit. Like, yeah, the guy who was Rhino, like, he was just so annoying for, I want to say, 70-80% of the film. But what I did notice, I don't know if this is from the comics, or maybe this is kind of like I don't know, I wouldn't say a MacGuffin or a retcon in the movie, right? Like they have a tube on the side of him, right? So they have this. So I guess he was experimented on. Um, this doctor, like, I guess, enhanced him, right? But like, there's this tube where if he pulls it out, then his skin will transform into the rhino, right? But like, if he puts it in, like, he's back to normal, right? And I loved how Kraven just shoved a metal bar into that tube, like that's like the weakness, right? And then he just dies like mid transformation. So I guess he's just like that. His corpse is like that mid transformation, half man, half rhino. Like, man, I've never heard of this film. Like, I should have done more research on it, but like this villain was a surprise for me. Like, I guess he puts his victims in a trance, and he counts down. He goes, 3, 2, 1, like kind of like freezes them in time. I guess I don't know. I have to look up some more like research. Like especially like when they have guns, he takes them away. Either he kills them with their own guns, or he just kills them in another way, right? Like, I just didn't find his character fascinating, which I'm glad that the main girl used the bow and arrow to, like, take him out, right? Like, that was so cool. Um, Dimitri, yeah. Dimitri was also an interesting character, but in a good way. Again, he's the chameleon. Like, I've been somewhat interested of the chameleon in Spider-Man lore, right? Like, um, but I guess I had no idea the chameleon and Kraven are brothers, right? But I'm happy with this film. It explained like why Kraven is the way he is. Like I've seen Spectacular Spider-Man, right? Like they have a brief like background of him, like he lives in the jungle, right? So like I'm happy that with this movie and his backstory, like as a kid he chose to live there because of his mom, like. Apparently, his mom died. She was sent on a mission by the dad, right, years back, and he blames her for being weak, like being sick in the head. Like, dude, you're blaming your late wife for not really defending herself, and you basically sent her like unprepared. Like they did show some like kind of like backstory stuff with the mom, but like they don't really cover that. But I think this confirms that this villain who was putting people in trances, right? I think this confirms like he was around for a long time. Like she was seeing spires and all that, and when Kraven got hit with the trank darts, or I don't know if it's safe to say trank darts, but like the villain was making him see stuff, right? Like Kraven was making those connections, and I don't want to leave this part out, like how Kraven actually survived the lion bite, but like besides him getting the powers, like the main girl, like as a kid, like she was given this potion by her grandma, like use it wisely type of thing. So like she witnessed Kraven being like badly hurt, right? So like she gives him that, and it heals him, and he's in the hospital. But they said like he was dead for over 3 minutes, but then he came back. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, the intense scenes, like they were so good. Like the cussing in this film, honestly, because it's a rated R film, you'd expect a lot more. Except when they use like the F-bomb, right? They use it in a different language. I'm pretty sure the people who are speaking the language, I think they were all speaking Russian, right? Because like the opening of the film takes you into Russia, right? So I'm like that's fine, I guess. But like, of course, there were F-bombs in English too, but again, not a whole lot. So yeah, I guess you could say the cussing in this film was decent, and that's fine. Um, I like how Dimitri has his own bar, right? But like his dad still walks all over him. He's like, "You're nothing," and all that. Like, dude, how can you say that to basically any kid, right? Like, man, that is no. Um, but I did like the end where Kraven finally confronts his father. Like, honestly, when he was like blackmail was showing like he was shown like the Russian security camera footage from like from the prison he escaped from, like when somebody showed him that, I don't know who it was. Again, it's it's a long movie, but like I like the pacing in it. It's good, and like the dialogue, but like I knew that it was his dad all along. But I thought the movie was gonna pull fast when Dimitri was about to kill Rhino, like it was about to. I loved how they show a comic accurate chameleon at the end, like man. And as much as I didn't want Kraven to go bad in this movie, the ending was like slowly like transforming him to being bad. Like his father gave him a note like before he died. Like he opens the note and then has the comic book jacket, right? And then I think that's when he became the villain. Like, of course, guys, I've been aware this week that Sony has canceled their villain verse or spin-off movies, right? Because they're trying to keep the IP. Honestly, okay, this week I was thinking like Kraven was gonna be like the last legacy film, but you gotta remember we still need to have Beyond the Spider Verse, so that'll be like the last legacy film, right? But like honestly, Sony, I think Kraven the Hunter should have been like the perfect ending to just ending the IP in general and just give the rights back to Disney, right? Because we're not getting Marvel Spider-Man 4 until 2026, and that's less than 2 years away now, guys. Can you believe that? We're almost done with 2024, and just say going into 2025, seriously, those thoughts are going to be in my brain like next year's Marvel movies. Cat 4, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, the Disney Plus shows, and while I'm thinking about that, while I'm gonna think about that, like I'm also gonna think about like the next year, 2026. Like man, Avengers 5 is right around the corner, right? Like, um, but when Spider-Man 4 comes out in 26, it would have been well 4.5 years since No Way Home came out, right? Because in their contract, like if they don't have a Spider-Man movie, like every like what was it like every 5 years or so, like they lose the rights. Like that's fine. Give Spider-Man back to Disney, because I think what Sony's doing now and like why they've like stopped their villain verse movies is like I think they're actually like really working with Disney and Kevin Feige. Like I think Sony did say like Kevin can use any Spider-Man related character now, like even the villains, right? So like I don't know, the director kind of confirmed like Kraven's last hunt is going to happen, but like I don't think that's going to happen for like at least 4 to 5 years, right? Because remember, like they're canceling these for 3 years, right? So the only Spider-Man related projects we're gonna get is yes, Spider-Man 4, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man Noir, the Amazon Prime series, which I'm still looking forward to. So like, man, um, of course I could see Secret Wars, like bringing Kraven in, and like when Battle Worlds happen, like all the Spider-Man villains are gonna be on one Earth, and all the three Peters are gonna have to deal with the villains, right? Like, Honestly, though, guys, Kraven just became my new favorite Spider-Man villain, just because like how cool the character is in this movie and the choreography, and like he's just so cool, you know. Seriously, give the movie a watch. Um, what would I rate this out of 10? It's definitely not a 10 out of 10, even though it did exceed my expectations. Like, oh my gosh, what would I give this? I need to be fair. I need to be fair about this. Um, for once, I'm not going to say it's decent because it's actually a really good film. But the number, though, that one's going to be tricky. If I'm being honest with you guys, please don't attack me, but like, I want to hear what your guys' opinions in the comments are, like if you've seen the movie. I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Just because I think it's been better than the last non-Spider-Man projects, you know, like, Sony definitely made a comeback this year with their Spider-Verse stuff. You know how last year Warner Brothers was like releasing 4 DC films, so like Sony was releasing 3 Spider-Man related stuff, and I saw them all in the theater this year. Madam Web, Venom 3, and now Kraven. Like, Sony, you redeemed yourselves a little bit, right? Like, you know, as much as I like Venom 3, Kraven the Hunter beats Venom 3. And this is a film I can't wait to own both physically and digitally one day. Sad news for Venom 3, though. The Blu-ray release will come out in January 25. Like, you think, like, you know, with the last 2 Venom films, how they released them October, and then they get an early Blu-ray release, like, around Christmas time, right? December. I thought they were going to do the Venom 3, like, nope, I guess Sony jumped the gun and said, like, nope, we're going to extend that for 3 months. I guess that's fine, you know, as long as I get it, you know, and then I'll complete the Venom trilogy in my collection, right? Like, hopefully you guys saw my Marvel updated collection today. Like, pretty soon I will get to doing my MCU tribute like I always do, like whichever new release I get. Like, this time, like, again, it'll be from Iron Man to Deadpool and Wolverine. So, look forward to that. I mean, what else can I say other than the fact, like, I had a great experience, although I was a little worried because of the speakers, right? Like, I was afraid, like, there would be, like, an usher that would tell all of us to get out of there, and of course I would have, like, asked for a refund, right? Like, and I would have to wait in the theater for, like, what, an hour and a half, 2 hours just to wait for my mom and brother to get out of the movie they were watching. I would be so bummed, right? Like, well, maybe Red 1 could have been a backup film because I still want to see that one, like, mainly because of Chris Evans, right? I mean, hey, if I don't see Red 1 in the theaters soon, then I could potentially own the Blu-ray. Who knows? But yeah, that's my review of Kraven the Hunter. Like, Aaron Taylor Johnson, like, you did such a good job, man. Like, honestly can't wait for your future, right? Like, even though, like, Sony did say, like, they canceled their projects, like, I know you're gonna make a comeback. I know somehow Disney and Sony, they're gonna, like, use the multiverse to bring you in, and like seriously, Aaron Taylor Johnson wants to hunt Spider-Man. Like, we need that. Like, I would also want to see him fight Venom too, right? Like, of course, there's comics dedicated to, like, Kraven versus Venom, right? So, yeah, how cool would that be, guys? All right, that's pretty much going to wrap up this review. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please on the post notification bell and share my content if you haven't already. And, seriously, just give this movie a watch. Seriously, don't listen to the bad reviews. Like, I'm trying to promote the crap out of this movie just for y'all. Like, Sony, like, I'm doing you a big favor. Like, seriously, guys, go watch this movie. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. Like, you're gonna watch this film, and you're gonna look at the other Sony projects, like, man, this film is actually better. Like, so yeah, that was my spoiler review. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for buying me. The Lord be with you guys. Always love you guys. Peace out, guys, and hopefully you guys are having a great night. All right, bye, guys.